Man refuses paternity, changes his mind after kid gets huge unexpected inheritance. Jeremy stood at his ex-girlfriend Andrea's doorstep. She had invited him over for dinner and said she wanted to have an important conversation. As the door opened, a shy smile appeared on Jeremy's lips. Hey, hi. Nice to see you. How have you been? Hi, Jim. I'm fine, getting by. Thanks for making it. Come on in, Andrea replied, leading the way. Jeremy walked in, only to be shocked by the sight in the kitchen. A toddler sat in the child's seat beside the kitchen counter and giggled. Meet your baby, Ollie. Andrea announced, and Jeremy's face turned pale. My, what? He stepped back. Look, I know it's shocking, Jeremy, but Ollie is our baby. I found out I was pregnant just 2 weeks after we broke up, and I'd wanted to tell you about it back then, but I was afraid of how you'd react. I could no longer keep it to myself, so, yeah, surprise. Well, you keep that baby to yourself, and I'm leaving. I'm drowned in debts, and I can't raise a child, at least not at this point in my life. Think about it again, Jeremy, Andrea said. I can go to the court. But I don't want to drag the matter there if we can settle it cordially. Ollie started crying before Jeremy would say anything. I'll get his pacifier and be right back. Stay here. Andrea disappeared to another room, and Jeremy slumped onto the couch in the living room, unable to stand Ollie's loud crying. Meanwhile, Andrea pulled out her phone and texted her friend, Xavier. I told him everything, but he's denying paternity. It's time to take action. Suddenly, the silence around Jeremy was shattered by an unknown voice from the home answering machine, which was in speaker mode. Ollie, $1 million baby? Oh my God. Jeremy gasped as he rose from the couch and stared at baby Ollie. Unaware the voice from the machine was not Andrea's lawyer but Xavier, Jeremy hatched a plan. He deleted the message from the answering device and left the house without saying a word to Andrea. The next day, he returned to Andrea's house, but this time, Jeremy brought a bouquet of roses and apologized to Andrea, promising her he would look after Ollie. I thought it over, and I want to make it up to you both, he told Andrea, giving her the flowers. Let's start over, with our baby. Well, I don't know what to say, Jeremy, Andrea exclaimed. I was preparing to go to court, honestly. Hey, how about spending this weekend together, at the zoo and then at the beach? Just the three of us? Oh, Andrea played along, knowing Jeremy had visited her only because of Ollie's inheritance. If you want to step up for our son, who am I to stop you? I think Ollie would love us spending time together. That weekend turned out to be truly magical. Jeremy enthusiastically pointed out at the animals and birds, and little Ollie giggled as his tiny fingers reached out toward the orangutans, deer, and parrots behind the huge glass cases. I'm so glad I found this bundle of joy, Jeremy told Andrea as they exited the zoo. I never imagined being a father would bring me so much happiness. He loves you, I can feel it, Andrea smiled. Jeremy had indeed loved each moment he spent with Ollie, and once they were at the beach, he couldn't stop laughing at Ollie's unsuccessful attempts to construct the sand castle. Suddenly, Jeremy realized Andrea had been too silent, and when he turned around to check on her, he saw she was lying unconscious on the sand. Oh God! Andrea! Jeremy rushed her to the hospital and anxiously waited outside her ward with baby Ollie. Mr. Pines, a doctor approached him sometime later. I'm afraid it's bad news. Andrea has stage 4 cancer, and she must know it already. The cancer has spread throughout her body, and considering the severity of her condition, we have approximately 2 weeks left. Jeremy, shocked by the news, went to see Andrea in tears. Hey. I'm okay, Andrea smiled at him from the hospital bed. She had made peace with her impending death and didn't want Jeremy to break down. Why didn't you tell me? He asked, taking her hand. We'll face this together, all right? Ollie, he'll grow up feeling your love. He'll always know how much you love him. After leaving the hospital, Jeremy initiated the legal proceeding to gain Ollie's custody. But a detail caught his attention when he was going through the paperwork. Ollie's blood type doesn't match mine? And neither Andrea's? He isn't mine? Jeremy was shaken by the truth, but he decided to keep it to himself as he couldn't give up on the money he would receive shortly. 2 weeks later, Andrea left for her heavenly home, and Jeremy had to look after Ollie, which was no less than a roller coaster ride for Jeremy. Ollie yearned for Andrea, and his tantrums and outbursts were too much for Jeremy to bear. One morning, he woke up to the odor of Ollie's poopy diaper, and right after he changed it, Ollie peed on him. "Aw, how disgusting." Jeremy almost dropped the baby in disgust. He made Ollie sit on the counter after changing his diaper again and somehow managed to feed him. Then he left Ollie alone to take care of the laundry. "Don't you dare move from here, okay?" He showed big eyes to the baby. But when Jeremy returned, his heart stopped beating. Ollie had crawled across the counter and was holding an empty pack of pills. Jeremy couldn't recall if the pack had been empty before and rushed to the hospital with Ollie. The 2-year-old underwent a gastric lavage procedure, and Jeremy heaved a sigh of relief only when his son's doctor told him Ollie was all right. "You almost gave me a heart attack, little fella," Jeremy told the boy that night while lulling him to sleep. "I would never forgive myself if something happened to you." After putting Ollie to sleep, Jeremy grabbed a beer from the fridge when his ringing phone distracted him. It was a bank representative informing Jeremy he was running out of time to pay his debts. That night, Jeremy looked up Andrea's lawyer online and decided to meet him first thing the next day. "Thank you for coming in, Mr. Pines," said the lawyer, shaking Jeremy's hand. "Actually, I'm afraid there's a misunderstanding, sir. There's no indication of any inheritance pertaining to your son, Ollie." "What? But how?" "I'm sure there's a mistake," Jeremy argued. "My partner and I got a message from a certain David about my son's inheritance." "Sir, you're the only David practicing law in this town." "Well, I've reviewed all the documents, sir. And there's no evidence of any legacy in your son's name. It appears, Mr. Pines, that you were deceived." Jeremy stormed out of the lawyer's office and drove home. "How could you do this to me, huh? Was this your plan, Andrea? To make a fool out of me?" He glared at the ceiling. Jeremy pulled out his phone and asked the bank to give him more time to clear his debts. "I'm planning to mortgage this house and make a significant deposit," he told the bank representative. "We understand, Mr. Pines. But a week is all we can give you." "Damn it," he cried as he hung up. "Even if I mortgage this bloody house, it won't be enough. And I'll be stuck working double shifts for decades." Jeremy had to act quickly. He brought Ollie home from his neighbor's house and sat him at the table. "Okay, buddy, I can't have you around anymore, all right?" The baby just stared at Jeremy. "No, no. Stop giving me that look." Jeremy cried. "You and we gotta split, buddy. It's not like I'm your FA, we have to find our separate ways. We need to start fresh." Half an hour later, Jeremy pulled up outside the foster home. With a heavy sigh, Jeremy mustered the strength and stepped out of the car, clasping Ollie's tiny finger. The little boy's eyes gleamed with wonder as he scanned the surroundings. He was excited, thinking it was like one of those outings he enjoyed not too long ago with his parents. As they approached the door, Jeremy knocked and looked down at Ollie. Suddenly, the little boy looked up at Jeremy, his eyes filled with innocence and love. Jeremy could not hold back his tears. He swept Ollie into a tight embrace when the door swung open and an older woman greeted Jeremy. "Hello. Oh, I understand why you are here. This way, please, the reception is that way, please follow me," she said. In that fragile moment, a grave silence hung in the air for 10 seconds. Finally, Jeremy said, "You know what, sorry. It seems we have got the wrong address. Have a nice day." With his little son cradled in his arms, Jeremy turned around and headed back to his car.